Hi, my name's Will, and welcome to the Distorted Transmission for today. I'm talking to an Auckland-based band, Psychowolf. How are you?
Yeah, good. Good, thanks.
There's only two of you there, so give us the introductions, who you are, what you do, and what the other people do, and who they are.
I'm Banjo, and I'm sodium deficient.
I'm Chops McWaters. No, I'm Zell, and I play drums.
Missing Alex and Aiden. Alex plays bass, and Aiden plays lead guitar and is doing all the production side of things.
The man behind the desk.
Yeah, desk boy. This is actually his desk. We're in Scallywag Studios right now.
You also have like a guy playing keys or synths or something in some of the tracks. Who is that?
So that was Patty. Patty's actually left the band recently.
Okay.
We just need to kind of work through that with backing tracks and stuff.
Yeah, Sans keyboard at the moment.
Oh, you could always find somebody else who could fill in that position, or is it just much easier with backing tracks, less bullshit?
Well, getting ready to go for trying to prepare for gigs and stuff. It's easier to, with less people in the room, I guess. But at the same time, it's a hard position to fill because nobody is in their room waiting for a band to come along that's getting on with synths loops and all that kind of sort of stuff. Or maybe they are. I don't know. I'm not. Who am I to say? But I don't know anyone, basically.
You could just record the entire band and just tour a CD, I suppose. All right. So the reason why we're talking today is because, the 12th of the 4th is next week, but actually no, it's in 3 days' time, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
So this is kind of one of those weird interviews where we're going to talk about something that's in the future, but we're going to talk about it in the past. So that's fun. So you've released a track called Fear and a track called Step Back on the 12th of the 4th. You sent me a sneak peek of Fear. I had listened to it. I was very impressed with the production of the video. As always, I've noticed that all of your stuff, production-wise, like Scallywag does, great videos, great editing and all that shit. It's always on point. So well done there. But it's kind of hard to nail down your musical trajectory. There's a massive sonic difference between the other releases, including Step Back, which is perhaps have a more of a mellow 70s pop vibe, kind of, but in a sort of a more modern context. And Fear, which is more of a sort of, I guess, because I'm an old guy, I can't really label things very well, but it was kind of djenty and it was sort of a little bit djent-influenced heavy rock anthem, I guess, with synth layers. That was the best I could do. For texture. So does the band aim to release such polar opposites in terms of sound, or has the band coalesced into the sort of latter sound as it developed? Or was sort of Fear more of a one-off?
Fear is most definitely not a one-off, but I do... so with Fear, that came about I wrote a song that I'd called Fear, and it was quite similar to the one that is now. I think the synths have remained the same, but Aiden was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna run with it," and then he did a full overhaul, and it became a totally different thing, and it was not what I had intended, but it was such a cool thing that had been made from it. So I was like it wasn't really the intention, but I do love the kind of the sonic ground that it plays in. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Whereas songs like Step Back, that was one that me and Aiden and I, what's English? We actually did that back in Melbourne, and we'd pretty much we'd done the entire song, but I was new to lyric writing then, and I couldn't quite nail it down. And so a couple of months ago, I showed my friend Caleb Kingston, and he was like, "That's very much in his Q zone," he said, and he ran with it, and he had so many lyric ideas that we just kind of picked them and altered them a bit, and it became a different kind of thing. There'd be more in the future, Fear, than there would be Step Back, because that was kind of a one-off. But I do love the idea of having such a divisive sound ourselves, to be able to cover essentially two different not even genres. I don't even know what a genre is anymore.
Genre.
Yeah, like a genre or a genre. If you're French, and yeah, no, I like covering like a variety, but I think it'll kind of find itself a little bit more as we go.
I think that was possibly the worst answer anybody's ever given, or at least in the term of delivery.
I wanted the answer to be
Your homework.
yeah. I wanted my answer to be in a similar way to you asking that question, because it was like 3 different points, and
True.
I tried to answer all of it.
Fair point.
You can edit it.
All right. Well, it was informative and yet somewhat disjointed. Zell, you wanna weigh in on it?
I mean, yeah, I wasn't necessarily part of writing all these songs, but I've kind of come in kind of after the fact and helped, I guess, do some editing. And
he fixed all the faults in them.
Okay.
But I think, like, it's kind of nice to have that eclectic kind of mix of things going on, which keeps things interesting. I think too, when we eventually get around to doing live shows, I think through the filter of our live rig and setup, I think things may become a bit more cohesive even.
I guess the underlying question of my admittedly disjointed question was, are you going in a more of a sort of a heavier direction, because it was a large change? And so I thought, well, maybe because you just mentioned before that your sort of synthesizer dude, I've forgotten his name, sorry, has left the band, perhaps that prompted a change, so you're going for a more heavy rock, as opposed to a more of a pop rock. Is that accurate or not?
I think it's possible. I think we're still, like, we've got a lot of songs ready to kind of, they just need to be basically finalized. Basically, I think that we have a lot of songs that I've kind of started and then have been morphed into other things within the band, and that's really cool. My writing kind of starts usually from a Strokes, Tame Impala, Arctic Monkeys, like the kind of
you're
like
just an indie kid.
Yeah. I'm just I'm a little indie boy. No, the garage rock revival, mid 2000s era kind of stuff. That's probably made a big part on my musical background, I guess. So that's probably where a lot of origins are, but whether it morphs into other things, that's a big possibility.
I guess in certain bands you've got more than one songwriter, so depending on who writes what, the end result can be quite dynamically different. So perhaps that's maybe what happened in this circumstance. All right, cool. So are you sort of ascribing to the modern singles route? And if you sort of get a hit song, will you consider taking the band to larger stages, or is it a sort of a band that's sort of firmly rooted in New Zealand?
In the last band, we moved to Australia for 4 years, as you know, and that was a lot of fun. But I think it was a different kind of. It was a big experience. I would totally be willing to take it to bigger stages if that were the case. But who's to say? Zell, you've got a fascination with overseas, don't you?
Yeah. Just because I walked, yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't rule anything out either.
Yeah,
was keen to do that kind of stuff.
We'll
I mean, I think ultimately, I wouldn't say the kind of songs, the type of music this band's put out so far, I wouldn't say it necessarily lends itself to the New Zealand sound particularly well. there's no beat or anything.
Yeah,
but
who's to say?
Yeah, who knows?
The reason why I ask it, of course, is because you were in a band called Black Alpine, and you were sort of based in, I think it was Melbourne, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes people start bands because they're looking to do something overseas, like Black Smoke Trigger, perfect example. Little sort of Kiwi band. Well, it started out being a little sort of a Kiwi idea, and now they're touring all over the place, and they've gone massive, right? Whereas other bands, like the band I'm in, for example, I don't think we're ever going to be doing overseas stuff. We're just happy playing a few shows around New Zealand, and we're just grateful to be able to do that. So sometimes people sort of venture into music for a certain goal, and because Black Alpine was more of an overseas thing, I thought maybe this thing also you might have that in mind.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Like, I think we're more set up here now. Like, since moving back, that was like a big decision to make, and I think we're a lot more comfortable here than when we were 10 years ago. So it's but like I'm all for traveling, but I can't imagine doing another 4 years in Australia or anything.
Okay. Well, as far as Black Alpine goes, since we've discussed it a little bit, is that band still ongoing, or has that kind of ended and this is the new thing, or are you doing them side by side?
That quietly ended, I think. I can't see us doing any more. Zell was also in Black Alpine for the last
Yeah.
so
last year.
yeah. Could you see it being a thing?
I mean, I was the new kid on the block in that band too, so I don't know. It's been
Great boy.
So I don't know. I probably say the least about it, to be honest. I mean, if we decide to do some more shows or whatever, then yeah, fuck yeah, it'd be fun. But I mean,
I'll probably say no.
On to the next question. What's the plans for this year? Do you have anything set in concrete, or perhaps aspirations to do certain things? Any shows, that kind of stuff?
We've got a bunch of other songs that will be released as singles. So we'll try and push those as hard as we can, and we do really want to back that up with some live shows. So that's kind of in the works. Really like to get something penciled in by, I guess, before middle of the year. So pretty keen to get on stage and do this thing live. So it's going to present all sorts of different challenges and all sorts of technical difficulties, I guess, perhaps. But
I'm all for it.
It's going to be good.
That means playing to a click, of course, if you're going to have backing tracks and stuff. Are you comfortable playing with clicks? Do you usually play with clicks? Because it took me a while to adjust.
Yeah, I mean, I got a love-hate relationship with it. Like I think some drummers, like a few drummers probably do, but every now and then I'll try and practice to it, like, or just jam along to stuff at home, like with a click, and try and do it. I mean, I wouldn't say necessarily do it for fun, but it's kind of just it's going to be a necessity for this band, so just got to.
He's also very good at it. You're also like, you've got a lot of experience doing it. You're like, I've never once heard Zell miss a beat because he knows he's not allowed.
Yeah, I get lashings otherwise.
Yeah, aside from all the band stuff, I know Aiden does Scallywag Records. Of course, you're actually there right now, which I didn't bank on when I wrote these questions, so what a coincidence. So perhaps we can talk about that briefly. How's that side of things going? How do people book time there? Kind of what sort of services are provided for people?
I just do the regular shout out to Aiden thing that I've been doing every time, because he's like, I can't do the interviews. I don't want to do that. I'm not good at it. He's great at it. He just doesn't. It's a personality thing, and he just doesn't like to make time for that. That's fine. I'll do it. Aiden's fantastic. Scallywag's fantastic. Yeah, well, one day he might. And yeah, so we've had, in the last couple of months, we had Chasing Titans in, and we did their album, and that sounds epic. So that was really cool. We've done another one since, but I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that one because it's not quite finished, but I'm really excited about that one. Basically, we got an artist and she had a whole album ready to go, and she wanted me and Aiden to play all the songs with her, and that was a lot of fun. And we've got so we got big things coming up as well. It's actually turning to be a really busy year with that side of things. So at the moment, so we're still doing smaller projects, constantly, and having little meetups or message chains back and forth. At the moment, so we can do what does he like to do the most? He likes to do like albums, but Aiden takes the helm of those. Smaller things we kind of get involved in as well. Zell, what do you do? You add tech support.
Yeah, I guess when it comes to if Aiden's going to do like live drum sessions and stuff like that, cable bitch, and I guess just assist with the engineering side of things and help with editing and bit of production here and there as well. Yeah.
You have a proper sort of a drum room, everything like that is all available?
The drum room is actually just getting built currently. That's going to be back behind that in the next room over there. So that'll be ready soon. We've done it otherwise, and it's worked out great. But yeah, we're kind of about to undergo some renovations. But yeah, we've got currently what is in this studio space, and not strictly limited to. There's a wall of amp heads behind me. There's an Engel, a PV, and a Marshall. And they are all hooked up into the back of the computer with cab simulators. There's a vocal booth in the door behind me as well. And that gets a lot of good results.
Yeah. Recording, engineering side of it, in the first steps, and then mixing, mastering later on. So yeah, the whole kind of from right from the beginning to the end of the process. Yeah, that's all kind of covered.
Well, I think that's about all the time we have to chat. Is there anything else you'd like to add at the end of it, just to round it out?
The fair's going to be out on the 12th of April. Please check it out on all streaming platforms, YouTube, etc., and look out for gigs on the horizon.
Okay, Banjo?
Thanks for everyone who's been watching our content on YouTube, and we're on all platforms. And shout out to Caleb Kingston for featuring on our latest B-side, Step Back.
Well done. All right, guys. Best of luck with everything for the rest of the year. Good luck with the release. Thanks for chatting.
As well. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for watching.